Hey gang, this is Steve with Guitar Center. We're at NAMM 2018. We're in the Taylor booth with Andy Powers, and we're talking about new V-Class bracing. How you doing, Andy?
I'm pretty well, thank you. Pretty
Awesome.
well.
So you've got an innovative new design here. Can you tell me a little bit about what V-bracing is compared to a traditional X bracing?
Well, yeah, it's essentially just a different internal architecture for the guitar. The guitar is working in an entirely different way due to how parts move air around. So for years, we've been building guitars based on this conventional design that has some inherent compromises. They work well, but what I was trying to accomplish was something that gives the builder a lot more control to build a more dynamic, more expressive instrument.
So like on a normal top, there's an X that's underneath there.
If you imagine like the kite sticks that go under the top, typically an X brace, well, it looks like a big letter X. And what that means is that it's not really strong and it's not really that flexible in any direction. It's a pretty good compromise.
Yeah.
But the way this design is working is it's both very strong, where the guitar needs to be strong, and very, very flexible where it needs to be flexible. Because what we find is that, when you consider the electric guitars of the world, things like that are built very, very, very rigid, they're very strong, that's what contributes to sustain. It makes for a note that lasts a long time. Well, that's a great quality for a musician. The kind of the flip side of that is that we need flexibility to actually displace air and move volume.
Right.
That's what hits our eardrums as sound pressure it's an air pressure change.
Yeah.
So you need something that's flexible enough to move that air around, like a drum head or a banjo or something. So what this design does is it makes the guitar into more like a system. Where parts are very strong, makes for a very long-lasting note, and parts are very flexible, and it's a controlled flexibility so that the guitar ends up with this, like a broadband-like response.
Really?
Yeah, it's just a more expressive thing.
So, like in terms of notes on a guitar, like a traditional guitarist would notice what in terms of the difference in the sound?
In this case, there's a couple of different sonorities based on the different models of guitars we're building, the different tone woods, they're all voiced a little different. But across all of these designs, what guitar players will notice is that the traditionally weak parts of the guitar aren't weak anymore. So you could play very delicately and find that you have a really long sustain. You could play with almost unlimited headroom and the guitar has a tremendous amount of volume. One of the most interesting kind of attributes that comes from this design is it enables us to build the guitar with better intonation than we've ever had.
Yeah.
Our compensation, the string compensation, hasn't changed one bit. That's the way that it's always worked, and that works very well. But there's more to intonation than just merely accounting for the string stretch effect.
Right. And so if I'm understanding this, it's something about the way the head resonates that would also be contributing to the intonation?
Yeah, it's actually the way the body is moving in response to what the strings do. You think of the body as a translator for what the player brings to the strings. Traditionally, a guitar body isn't a very good translator. It doesn't have a great vocabulary. So we might play a note or a passage or something, and the body will do its best to reflect that.
Yeah.
But it's not a hugely able thing.
Yeah.
So it's essentially it's going to give you the closest version that it can.
Right.
What this design does is it's functioning like a translator that's completely fluid. So when I play a single note, a passage, a chord, rather than giving me the closest version it can, it'll reproduce exactly what I bring to the strings.
That's cool.
So all the harmonic structure, the overtone content, everything that you would bring to those strings, you get to hear it finally.
So what I've heard is you sort of had an ephany moment when you realized you could be doing a V-bracing. Is that is there a little story behind that?
Growing up here in Southern California, I'm a lifelong ocean fanatic, right? So I surf a lot, I fish and dive and paddle and all these things. So one of the interesting things that I've done over my lifetime is a lot of other scientists have done it as well. In fact, Hermann Helmholtz back in the 1800s wrote about it. You can watch the ocean because the waves that'll move through water are essentially the same as waves moving in any other frequency or any other wavelength. Just those ones go really slow, so you can watch them and see what happens.
Yeah.
So right after we released the 800 series guitars back in 2014, a couple weeks after, I'm thinking, well, great, those are wonderful guitars. I wonder how we can do better. You know, that's on my mind as I'm trying to build an ever better guitar. And I got up early one morning to go surf, and a storm had blown through the night before and completely ruined what I was watching. It's like, man, I could still be asleep. You know, I'm standing on this bluff in the wind watching this horrible, stormy, unrideable sea. I think, oh, you know, this is still kind of what's going on with my guitars. I'm getting better. I can see there's swell in the water, and, you know, things are good. But I think we could do even better. You know, a couple days later, storm passes through, weather cleans up, and I'm at a different surf spot watching this unbelievably clean swell break around a jetty. I thought, man, this thing has perfect order. It's like it totally makes sense. Maybe I could capture this setup and bring that into the context of a guitar. What would happen if I did that?
Yeah.
So I sketched that design out and what it looked like and went back to the shop and built a guitar.
Wow.
And turns out I got like halfway through building that guitar and went, oh my gosh, what have I done? This is like Pandora's box or something.
Wow.
This is going to change some things.
So how far into building like a test case did you realize that you were like really onto something?
I got about halfway through building the first guitar and I realized, man, these parts are actually moving the way that I imagined them moving. I either need to burn this and never look at it again, or I got to keep mining this and just make sure it stays hidden in a closet somewhere. So I kept building it, and it was something.
Awesome. And these are going to be available in four models?
Yeah. Initially, we're releasing them as 4 models. We'll see them in our presentation series for the Grand Auditorium, the 900 series, our Koa series, and then this model, which we call a Builder's Edition Koa series.
Awesome. So when can we see these in stores?
Yeah, we've been building these, and we'll start shipping them out pretty quick here.
Great. Awesome. Thanks, Andy.
Hey, my pleasure.
See ya.